Hi, I'm Jeff Marsacci, the Plain English Attorney, and you're at the #1 place to get simple answers to complex questions. We cover topics for attorneys, financial advisors, and the general public around estate and Medicaid planning, as well as some best practices for professionals. Our mission is to dispel myths, provide you some peace of mind, and hopefully have some fun along the way.
Hi, this is Jeff Marsacci, the Plain English Attorney, and today I want to talk a little bit about leveraged generational planning. Let me start with a quote. "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." That's Archimedes. And it really is true that you can leverage a lot of factors and a lot of things to make a result compound in value to you. And what I'm going to talk about today is how the family, when it comes to estate and financial and retirement planning, there are several things that I'm only going to touch briefly upon here that can completely change the world exponentially for you and your family. So let's talk just a little bit about gifts. That's the first thing, is gifts. I have clients and they're sometimes asking me about, well, what's the annual gift tax exclusion? North Carolina does not have a state level gift tax, which is fortunate for us. So there's the federal gift tax limit, which is $15,000 per giver to each receiver. So if we're looking at a married couple and 2 kids, well, let's just say it's mom and dad, brother and sister / son and daughter. Dad can give son $15,000. Dad can give daughter $15,000. Mom can give son $15,000 and mom can give daughter $15,000. So that actually comes out to $60,000 worth of gifts because you have 2 givers and 2 receivers. So what do I usually see with that? Oh, would you? Okay, well, you can give $60,000. So you're writing the checks out, you're recording it. You don't have to fill out a gift tax form with the Internal Revenue Service at that level. Anything above that, and well, you have to fill out a form. And I always have to tell my clients, look, don't worry about actually having to pay a tax until the excess overage of those gifts cumulatively rises to $11.5 million a person. Oh, well, I'm not going to give that much. Well, and that's kind of the point. But the hassle is filing the gift tax form. So people keep it under that amount where it's that reporting requirement where you have to fill out a gift tax form annually and submit it to the IRS. Well, what usually then happens with that $60,000? So son's getting $30,000, daughter's getting $30,000. Well, I spent a little too much around the holidays and I got the check, so I'll use that to pay off the credit card bill. Oh, we've been meaning to redo a little bit of thing around the house, and so we're going to redo the kitchen, and that'll help do that. Well, that's money that's just spent, and it's gone. What if that money were somehow invested in a very planned way that's going to yield results down the road? So we're not talking about just taking the money and it's going to end up being gone. It's no, this money's going to be coming in and we're going to plan for it to come in every year, and it's going to have a way that it's just going to end up providing a large, preferably tax-free sum of money that can be used at retirement for the kids. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Well, there are ways to do that, but it's planning it ahead. And it's, again, leveraging those gifts so it's not just spent, but doing it in a way that will compound and end up having a big result for the kids. And then by the time they're looking at bringing that money in, this might be something they would be doing for their kids. All right, now how about having retirement? This is something that I kind of go over with my clients when we're talking about retirement planning and just a general overall investment. When you're working and you've got a 401k and the company's matching up to a certain amount, let's just say, okay, the company's going to match up to 3%, but you can put up to 8% of your salary into a 401k. Well, you take the 3% because that's basically double what is being pulled out of your paycheck. But do you put that extra 5% in? Not necessarily, because what we're seeing out there is a lot of people, they're doing what they've been told to do. Yeah, max out the money that's going into your 401k. And it ends up that it compounds and it does well enough that it's now pushing you into such high tax brackets when you get into retirement that the tax rates are outrageous. Everybody assumed, oh, well, once I retire, my tax rates will be lower. And it's just not true, at least not for the people who actually do save. So we're not typically saying, yeah, max out what you can put into your 401k. It's max what's being matched by your company. Great. After that, what do? Well, pay the taxes to fund your maximum contribution to a Roth IRA. Because that's money where it's, all right, you pay the taxes up front, and now that money is compounding tax-free towards retirement. But that contribution is typically only $5,000 or $6,000 a year. And don't quote me and ask me on the numbers, but you're at least putting that into something that will grow and compound tax-free. Well, then after that, what do? That's where I'm not going to get too far into it, but you can actually put that money using after-tax dollars into something that's not going to end up being taxable when it comes out. Well, how is this leveraging it? Well, I might as well just mention it. What if there were a way to do life insurance on a parent, and the money that you would have normally, quote, overfunded the 401k or then put into an IRA after that towards retirement, what if you were putting money in there and it was going to yield a much greater amount when the parent passed on, and now what you've got is a tax-free bucket to withdraw from right alongside that taxable bucket that's growing in your 401k. So again, that's a strategy, but what we're really doing is we're leveraging the life of a parent, or potentially both parents using some kind of second to die policy, so that it's helping fund your retirement, but it's not going to be 100% taxable. So that's something that we can look at. And going back to that first example, what if you're actually that $15,000 a year, we're going to combine these two, that's going in to help fund that tax-free bucket for retirement. Again, that's all leveraging the family. And this is really came about because of the Secure Act. It's really talking about the tax spread. When you turn 72 now, it used to be 70 and a half. When you're 72, you have required distributions that have to come out. The government makes you take those money out of IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, all of those taxable accounts. So when you hit those RMDs, it's like, oh, you've got to take that money out at that point. And depending on how big it is, that could push you into a pretty high tax bracket. Well, and again, don't quote me specifically on the ages. I'm not sure, but 59 and a half is what it used to be. It might still be that you could start taking money out of these IRAs and 401ks without the penalties. Well, taking a look at what you can take out at 59 and a half through to 72 before the government starts making you take that money out and putting it into something that's tax-free, or it's taxable as you go along, so that it's not 100% income taxable for whatever amount you pull out, well, that's definitely something to look for. But again, we're talking about leveraging for the family. If you're in retirement and the kids are going to end up having a much higher tax bracket, just imagine what the inherited income taxes would be if you keep pushing off taking out money and only take out your required distributions each year, instead of taking more out so that you're getting close to what a colleague of mine said was bumping the brackets. In other words, you can tolerate this tax bracket level, but the RMDs only make you take this much out. Take this extra amount out. Take it out because you're okay with that tax rate, but now you're pulling more money out of the IRAs and the 401k, so it's not going to be a huge income tax hit on the kids when you pass on. But then you can also take that money and use it in a way that's also going to leave the kids some tax-free money in a bucket. Or at the same time, if it's yours, you have a place where you can take money out that isn't going to be 100% taxable to offset anything that you've got in that taxable account. I hear this all the time. Yeah, I have such a big IRA, but I don't want to take money out because it's income taxable. I've got my Social Security that's coming in. I really don't have all that much in other non-taxable accounts. And I need a new roof on the house, and I just got the estimate, and it's going to be $35,000 to redo this roof. That means I'm probably going to have to take $50,000 or $55,000 out of an IRA in order to pay for it, because there's going to be so much in taxes. Wouldn't it be much better if you had the tax-free bucket or the minimal tax bucket instead of a 100% taxable bucket to pull that money out for yourself in your retirement, not to mention what the kids are going to be able to have in terms of what's taxable versus not when you pass on. So these are just three things here that we're talking about. It's okay, if you're going to do gifts, let's do it in a way that's going to maximize the benefit for those kids instead of them just spending it on remodeling the house or upgrading the car more often. Two, if you're looking at something to put money in that the kids can potentially put in, whole life policies and some other techniques might be a really good thing that you can coordinate on together so that it ends up being a tax-free bucket that the kids can use in retirement. And then the third thing is taking a look at the tax spread. What are you going to be paying in taxes versus what do the kids have as their tax rates? And maybe you should have a strategy of taking more money out than the RMDs and putting it into something else. So those are just three areas where we're talking about leverage. I could probably go in depth and do a whole 20-minute podcast on each one of these, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to give you that taste of those three things. So take a look at that. Think about that and how it might fit your situation. If you do want to go more in depth than I and Mike Brooks at my office, this is something that we're taking more of a look at for our clients. You can just give us a call at the office, 919-844-7993, or you can check out the link tree in the description below and some other links that we may be putting in there. So just get in touch with us and let us know if this is something that we can help you with. And look for more on this in the future, because this leveraged generational planning, this is really going to be a big thing. And it's all thanks to the Secure Act and having to minimize taxes, because the government has already started to swing the other way with raising taxes. So again, I'm Jeff Mersace, the Plain English Attorney. We hope you found that information useful, and please let us know if there's anything we can do for you. So plan ahead, stay safe, and have a great day.
We hope you found that information useful and easy to understand. To keep getting this great information, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. To get even more information more quickly, follow the links below to some of our free, no obligation programs.